Hello, Hybrid Summit participants. I wanted to give you greetings from the beautiful White Mountains in Arizona. It's my last day up here before I come back, and we get to see all of you guys in person, which we're very excited about. I am here to give you a brief overview on Module 3. Remember, Module 3 is going to be fully online again. So Module 1 was online, Module 2 we met face-to-face, Module 3 is going to be the remainder of your online work. So I'm going to go to the overview page, and Module 3 looks deceptively short. We basically have 2 things for you to do, but because it's a lot of work time, it really will take you easily the 3 hours that we've allotted for this. So the 2 things that you're going to work on for Module 3 is going to be your hybrid course schedule, and then creating something for your students where you're giving them a clear, concise explanation about what they can expect from your hybrid course. So the summit objectives that you'll be meeting, where you're working on structuring your course for optimal student learning. You're going to clearly describe your class to your potential students. You'll do that by drafting a hybrid schedule, one segment of which you will submit to us, and then by creating a digital introduction to hybrid for your students. You're going to have to go through the module in order, or else you won't be able to progress, just as you found with Module 1. Okay, so 2 tasks basically. First one is you're going to work on your hybrid schedule. Now this first page, this hybrid checklist guide for planning, is really just a document that was created by the online learning committee, and that group of people put in a lot of work to create this checklist of best practices and things that we would recommend that you do, along with a few tips and tricks here at the end. So this is just a guideline for you. You're not submitting anything with this. You're not turning this checklist in. It's just providing you with this checklist that was created, because often people are saying, well, what are the recommended practices? What kinds of things should we be doing? So if you want a copy of this for yourself, we have both a Word version here and a PDF version. If you want to see a completed sample, I never give my students something for homework that I'm not willing to do myself. So up at the top here, you see there's a tab that says Checklist Docs, and then a tab that says Completed Sample. Here is a sample of the checklist that I completed and said, look, here's how I can show evidence that I am doing all of these things in my classes, so that I know for myself, I've kind of stepped back and evaluated and said, yes, I'm following recommended practices for my courses. So again, this checklist isn't something that you have to do, but you can certainly take a look through here and you can get a copy for yourself, and it helps you step back and assess your own course. Okay. The 2 tests that you do need to complete. Assignment number 4. Planning your hybrid schedule. Here's what we want you to do. You do not have to have the whole schedule completed this week. What we would like to see from you is at least one, what we're calling cycle from your class. So one complete loop that your students would go through, whether that's starting with an online segment, going to the face-to-face, and then back to online, or if you want to start with a face-to-face, because my classes typically, when I do hybrid, my very first interaction with them is not the online piece, except for the information getting started, but rather we meet face-to-face, then they do some online work, and then we meet face-to-face again. So I probably would show a cycle like the second one, but either way that you choose. In this week's course, we started with the online segment where you did some reflection, then we met face-to-face, and then we're back online. So if I were doing Hybrid Summit, that's the cycle I would show. When you have done that, whether you take a screenshot or whether you submit a document, you are going to post it to the discussion board. Jen has posted here the very detailed Hybrid Summit schedule. This is a very complete cycle, including the purple down here is optional session 4, which some of you will be doing, some of you may not be doing. So I'm going to head back up to the top here for a second, because there are 3 tabs. One is describing the assignment. One, we have provided you with some samples that you can download if you want. I put in both a fall and a spring Tuesday hybrid class schedule so that you can kind of see what kinds of adjustments I made between the fall and spring semester to compensate for missing spring break. Jen has put up a childhood development sample, and then Kim Patterson was good enough to share a bio sample with us. So you have a few samples here to take a look at. The 3rd tab is templates for you if you wish to use them. So there are 2 blank Excel templates. Those are the 2 that are going to reflect the 2 schedules that I had posted for you. One is fall, one is spring. So it's already laid out for you with spring break in there. The nice thing about the spreadsheet template is that I have created it such that if you go to the very first cell that has a date and just put in the date of your first class for the semester, whether it's the fall or the spring, I've got formulas in there so that it will automatically populate all of the dates for you. So you don't have to go in and keep typing in dates or checking what the dates are. I guess unless it's leap year and it's the spring schedule, then you might have to be careful. But other than that, you should be able to just go in and type in your starting day date, and then it will populate the rest of those dates for you. And then Jen has provided the blank Google Doc template for a fall semester. Hers is going to be pretty easy for you to convert to a spring semester if you need to. So we have your assignment, we have scheduled samples in here, and we have scheduled templates. Your job is to submit to us in the discussion board one complete segment or loop or cycle or whatever you want to call it. If you want to turn in the whole thing, please be our guest. We'd love to see the whole thing, but we want to make sure that we see at least one completed loop because we want to make sure that everything's tight and seamless for students. The submission is the only actual requirement, but we really, really encourage you to go through and take a look at what other people have done as well, because it may give you ideas. I mean, I know last year when we were doing Basecamp, people said that just seeing the ideas from their colleagues was really valuable to them. All right, your second task. And this one is a little bit like last year at Basecamp, where we have you create something. You might create a video. You might create an infographic. You get to choose in this case. So for this, your last assignment for session 3 of Hybrid Summit, so that it's assignment number 5, elevator pitch. What's so great about your hybrid class? You're pitching it to prospective students so that if they saw this description, they'd really want to register for your class. They'd want to sign up. Make sure that you tell them what's in it for them. Why is it beneficial? Why is a hybrid class going to be a good fit for them? This assignment I have here is kind of a choose your own adventure because you're going to get to decide whether you want to create a video message to students. If you do a video message, it has to be very brief. Now, technically, elevator pitches are supposed to be 30 seconds, but we'll give you as much as 3 minutes. So you said if you're in a very slow elevator in a building with lots of floors, maybe you'd get 3 minutes, but not any longer than that. And shorter is better. So you can either do a pitch video, very brief, or an infographic. You can click through these Google Slides that I have embedded here for instructions. It's going to kind of give you a refresher. Okay, elevator pitch. We did some stuff with this earlier in the week. We did some stuff in session 1. We talked about it in session 2. Well, now it's time for you to create your pitch. You're going to do some kind of a digital introduction incorporating those 5 elements that you did earlier in the week, and you get to pick the format. Doing the Google Slides is kind of nice because you can do this embedded thing. Here's where I can have it branch off. If you said, oh, I don't really want to do a video, I'd rather create an infographic, you can click on the infographic icon, and then we have 3 examples of things that you could use. So you can check these out. If you think maybe Adobe Spark Post, then here is a tutorial. Here's pros and cons. Here is a sample. Last year I used Spark Post in order to do the infographic for Basecamp for the results. If you decide instead, and I have these things actually linked back, if you click on the elevator pitch icon, it'll take you back to the choose the format page. Then you can go to video and find 3 things that you might want to use. Or if you prefer, we have the same information in these tabs on the top. Here's your assignment. If you choose to do an infographic pitch, we have those same tutorials and resources here for you to look at. If you choose to do a video pitch, then here are the tutorials and here are the 3 resources for you. Notice on both of these, both the infographic pitch, it says if you choose to create an infographic pitch, we recommend one of the following 3 tools. But if you have a different tool that you want to use that you're comfortable with, use that. We're not forcing you to use these. It's more that here's 3 things with pros and cons that you can use. Last year, people said that the number of resources was just overwhelming, so we tried to limit it to, okay, here's 3 tools and some pros and cons and what it would look like when you're done so that you can pick. Same with the video pitch. Here's 3 tools. If you have a different video tool that you want to use, please, by all means, use the different video tool. So that's it, your overview for number 3. Like I said, it looks deceptively short when you look at module 3 because I think we have, 3 items in here? We have the overview page, we have the checklist, which you're not submitting anything, so you have assignment 4 and assignment 5. But once you start digging in, those are going to take you some time, so make sure that you do a few hours for that. And if you have any questions, please, you can contact me and Jen. We can assist you, and we look forward to seeing what you create. Thanks, everybody.